Hello and welcome back. I'm madly dashing about already. What am I going to be like by the end of the day? But welcome back to the first of our live demonstrations using one of the suites from the new catalogue. And for this particular suite, we're going to be using one of the biggest suites in the catalogue. It's sort of like a mega suite of flowers for every season. I was just trying to upload YouTube videos at the same time, but I think we will stop trying to multitask on all fronts and just concentrate on one for a minute. So the flowers for every season suite, as I say, it is a mega bundle. It does include not just one but two bundles in here. One is a stamp and punch bundle, and one is a stamp and die bundle. And as the name would suggest, you do get a whole host of flowers in there. So hi Emma, hi Emily, hi Div, hi Lisa. Flowers galore. And the colour scheme, and you've got your little colour swatch down here, your colour scheme for the papers in this bundle, obviously you don't have to stick to those colours, you can do what colours you like. But the colour scheme for this particular bundle is the new in colours, which makes it particularly exciting. And the new in colours, of course, I've got cardstock. I haven't got any ink pads yet. We weren't able to get those on pre-order, but there we are. There's a card we made a week or so ago. We've got the Magenta Madness, you've got the Misty Moonlight, you've got the Bumblebee, you've got the Just Jade, and you've got the Cinnamon Cider. So that is the colours that we have to go with the papers in this suite. So that's why I started with it, really, not just because it's the first one that came along in the catalogue, but also not only can we look at the beautiful stamp sets and things in it, but we can also have a bit of a look at those new in colours at the same time. Now, when I first started planning this online event, I was going to have hundreds of samples ready for you by the time the day arrived. I think I might have estimated what I was going to be able to achieve. So I haven't got hundreds of samples for you. I've got a few. And the number of samples I have for you on these live demos will probably dwindle as the day goes on. But I have got a few things to show you in my basket that I've got put to one side just here, and then we're going to make some anyway. So let's just have a quick look at what you actually get in this suite. So you get your Jar of Flowers bundle, which is this stamp set just here. So these are reversible. So you get, on one side you get your detailed jar, and on the other you get just a solid jar and your detailed water, whatever it is that you want in your jar, jam, whatever, and your solid image. So you get both a detailed and a solid stamp on those reversible stamps. And if I show you the actual stamp set, you can see that it comes as two stamps. So these are your reversible ones. Over here you've got your jar and your jar inner, and you've also got this sort of stripy effect stamp just here that is also reversible, so that can be a solid image or it can be your striped effect. And then you've got all your flowers. You've got your 4 flower stamps that can be on top coming out of your jar, or you don't have to use them in the jar at all. You can just use those floral images. They're beautiful. You've got your stems, and you've got a lid for your jar as well. So obviously you can put things other than the flowers in your jars, and there's a few sort of different samples here with them. So that is the Jar of Love. So you get the Jar of Flowers stamp set, and then to coordinate with that you get this beautiful punch that punches out your jar. Lots of reflections. Hello, there's me. So that's one bundle. That's your jar of flowers bundle. The other bundle you get in this stamps in this suite is celebrate sunflowers. So you get this beautiful, stunning sunflower stamp set. Which isn't distinctive actually, but it's a great deal of detail, a really detailed stamp set, just beautiful. And then you get the dies, so you get the dies that will cut out your stamped images, and then you get these detailed dies as well, plus the added sort of foliage and things, and there's embossing and things on here as well. So really lovely, and I'll show you those dies cut out in a minute. So that's your other bundle, so 2 bundles. Then you get a packet. Also in this suite is a 6x6 pack of papers. Let's grab one of each. It's a really pretty one, isn't it? Sort of this daisy. And the idea is that this is going to take you through the year. So it's going to go throughout the whole of the year. So you've got your blues there and your big yellow sunflowers on that side. This one you've got these sort of anemones and roses in these pinks and reds with that yellow on the other side. You've got those nice big yellow roses, and then the other side. Look at those. It's a pretty paper, isn't it? That one looks as if it sort of looks as if it ought to be vellum, but it's not. Nice greenery on the back there, and then some really bright pink roses. Got a nice stripe, and then these sort of like a meadow full of flowers there. Anemones, and then you've got the sort of flowers again. Tulips, so obviously we're into spring now, and a spotty paper on the back of there. I love this misty moonlight paper, and then you've got some sort of Christmassy greenery on the back of there, and you've got this cinnamon stripe with poinsettias on the back of there. So very definitely is going to take you throughout the year, from the tulips in the spring through to, oh, and this one, mustn't lose this one because this is a beautiful one, through to Christmas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Are we missing one, or have I just not counted one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's better. So you've got your 12 floral prints, and then over on the other side you've got those sort of slightly more generic backgrounds. Really useful pack of paper. I'm going to pop that little pack to one side because that is ready for a giveaway that's happening over on my VIP group in a little while. Okay, so beautiful papers. There's Memory and More cards that are sort of again reflective of those same patterns, but then you've got sort of borders and holly jolly, warm and cozy, Christmassy images. You've got stickers in here. Look at that, that's beautiful, isn't it? So really lovely cards. Those are the smaller ones. You've got 4 sheets of stickers, 2 that are like this with the floral images on, and 2 that somewhere here have got greetings on. Just fabulous. You can either use them for your memory albums, to make little albums, to make cards, just to send as little postcards to people, to use as tags, to put in with gifts. 101 reasons why you'd want the Memory and More pack. Then there are some cards and envelopes that are also in those in colours that you can use with your Memory and More packs, or you can just use generally. So you get two in each colour of the in colours, and then you get the envelopes with the matching linings. So when somebody opens that, that's looking really professional and beautiful. You've got little shaker domes, so once you've punched out your hole, you can then pop in a little shaker dome, and I'll show you one of those in action in a moment, or a sample with one of those. And then you've got a ribbon combination. So as I said earlier, there's quite a few combinations of ribbon in this. This particular one is a green gingham. You've got this thread here that is Misty Moonlight white wrapped around with silver, so beautiful, but you can also take that apart and into its elements and have a white one or a blue one or a silver one, or a combination of any of those. And then you've got this really nice sort of quite an open weave wide-ish white ribbon that obviously you're then going to be able to colour if you want to, any colour you want. You've got your little gems in here that are a little bit, they do look like the little stones that you put in the bottom of vases and things. So they're not adhesive. You can either use them, you know, stick them on with a glue dot or something onto your projects, or you can use them in your shaker cards. The other thing you get in the, if you were to get the whole suite, is you get the 4 sets of in colour stamping blends as a combo pack. So the 4 colours that are going to have stamping blends with them are the Just Jade, the Cinnamon Cider, the Misty Moonlight, and the Magenta Madness. You're going to be able to get those 4 different colours as stamping blend combos. So that makes up the entire suite of products. There is one code number there, which means that you can get it all. If you want it all, you just need to use one code number, but obviously you can split that down into as many smaller bits if you want. If all you want is the jar punch, then that's all you need to order. You don't have to have everything if you don't want everything, but the option is there. So some really beautiful samples in here, with both the sunflowers and the jars, or a bit of both, and there's more samples over the page here. I like this idea of perhaps putting, I don't know, seeds or something in the jar. Really pretty. That's got the flowers in the background on that box. Box has been stamped, and then the sunflowers just here. I really like this one. I've just got a bit of card to have a go at that and ran out of time, so if we get time we will, you can see I've got my bits here, we'll have a play with that. So let's pop that to one side. Let me show you what I have got in terms of cards that are made up, and they've been some that I've been creating different things with over the last few days. This was a really simple card, quick and easy card that I put on my Stamping Starters page at the beginning of the week. That is just simply one of those pieces of 6x6 DSP with a bit trimmed off the bottom so it fits the front, and then the bit that was trimmed off turned round to use like a ribbon. So really simple, but that paper is just beautiful. Just a happy anniversary added to that. This was a card that was sent out on my newsletter. So if you received my newsletter, you'd have had this one. Again, just a piece of the DSP. This is one side of it. This is a bit that's been trimmed off either side and turned over, and then some of the flowers cut out of that paper to add to the top. Beautiful, and that's in the Just Jade and the Magenta Madness. Here's one, again another bit of that paper. This particular jar, and I don't know if I'm going to get it to show up on the camera. Will it show up if I show? Will it show if I shine a light? Possible. Yeah, you can. There, just there, you can see that it's shiny. There we go. So what I did with that was I stamped the jar on the detailed side of the stamp, and then I turned it over and I stamped it again on that solid side to that reversible stamp, and put with Versamark and put some clear embossing powder on it to get that jar to look glassy. So that's that one. These flowers are coloured in with watercolour pencils. Here's some of that twine. The Thanks a Bunch actually comes from the sunflower set, and again I've used the reverse of that paper as a bit of a highlight, and I've added on some of those gems using some glue dots. So that's one. This one, this jar actually was a bit that I'd punched out of another card that I'll show you in a minute. But I actually just sponged the edge of it to make it a bit darker. And these were the flowers from Grace's garden that I've added in there. It's a bow of that ribbon. We've got the ornate frames just here. Really lovely. This is just one of the Memory and More cards. On that card base, swirl of in colour ribbon behind it. Some of the in colour Oobry Doobries, enamel dots added on there, nothing else. What a beautiful card, what lovely colours. So there we are, a Christmas card all ready and raring to go. I have one more card somewhere, here it is. So this one is using the shaker domes. So I punched the label out of this paper, and this is in the Feel Good suite that's coming up later. So this real textured paper, it looks like it should be lumpy and bumpy, but it really isn't. It's just flat paper. The flowers were watercoloured. I watercolour washed the background of the jar, watercoloured the stems after stamping them. Got some of those little gems in the bottom of our jar, the bottom of our vase. Some gold thread. I think that might be the Feel Good suite as well. And I've brought out my sprig punch because that's carried over. I haven't put a greeting on that one yet. So there's some cards. Here's some we've created earlier. But let's do a bit of creating now. Now, as I say, I'll perhaps come back to that one. The first thing we'll do is I'm going to grab some oddments of, I think I'm going to go soft sea foam. I saw somebody had posted, whether I saw it on Pinterest or on one of the Facebook pages, I can't think where I saw it posted, about the idea of the jars being the painted mason jars that are quite popular. The idea of adding in, having a jar painted. So I thought we'd have a bit of a play and see if we can get the look of a painted jar. So I'm going to take the stamp, the reversible stamp, and I'm going to put it on the block so it is stamping on the detailed side. Oh, got fluffiness on the back of there. I don't quite know. It's not fluffy, it's sort of grainy. Not sure why. Let's give it a wipe and try again. So this is Soft Sea Foam card and Soft Sea Foam ink. So we'll punch that out. I think we'll have 3 of them. Now with the mason jars, when they're painted, it's normally painted in chalk paint. So what I thought I would do to add to those is I will grab my sponges and my craft ink pad. Ooh, it's nice and blue on there. I've spritzed that by the look of it. No, oh no, that's not what I'm looking for. Subtles, don't want subtles. That's more like it. Right, let's just pick up I'm just going to rub some craft ink over the top of it just to give it a bit of a chalky finish. I think you can see that those are definitely different. That in there. Just sort of swiping it across. There. I'm quite pleased with that. That's quite a nice chalky effect on there. So obviously we've gone right away from that sort of idea of the in colours. I think we'll take just deciding. Yeah, I think we'll get those on a standard size card base. Let's take a piece of cardstock and we'll cut it so that it's 10 centimetres by 14.4. And I think I'm going to run that through the bricks and mortar embossing folder. I do love this embossing folder. I'm going to have to be quite disciplined with myself today and put things away, otherwise by this evening I'm going to just be drowning. Now, yes, I've got a smoky slate just here. That will be nice. Let's take that and smoky slate sponge, and we'll come over here, just ink around the edge of our whitewashed wall. There we go. We've got 3 nice chalk painted jars on our whitewashed wall. So I'm not going to do the stems on these because we will assume that they won't be seen out of the top. We are going to lose some of our flowers, I think. That one's not quite so tall. Let's go with that one. Perhaps shouldn't have I think what we'll do, I'm going to stamp 3 of these, and we may end up cutting them down a little bit just so that they fit our background. So let's take that stamp just there, and let's stamp it in stays on, and I'm going to grab a piece of shimmery white so that we can watercolour. That stays on. We'll grab in our mat. Hi Jane, hi Janice, Karen, Beryl, Tina, Jackie, hi gang. Oh, I'm going to ink this up. Now this is the first time this particular flower stamp has been inked, so I am going to stamp it onto my scrap paper first, and typically that's stamped beautiful first time. One. Two. 3. I'm going to grab some pastel-y colours. I think we'll stick with our pastels. Let's have some Pear Pizzazz and some So Saffron, some Blushing Bride, Calypso Coral, the Highland Heather. I don't know how many of these we'll need, but we've got our nice pastels, our nice subtle colours to work with our pastel jars. There we go. And we'll add in some colour. This is going to be very quick and a do as I do, not do as I say job. And I think I'll have some Calypso Coral. Just whopping on some colour. They're really beautiful detailed floral stamps, and you know, you really don't need to be using them with your jars. You could be using them, use them alongside those details in the Grace's garden with the fences and things and the gates. That would be lovely. But they really would stand, they really are beautiful standalone stamps. The jar is fabulous. They work together beautifully, but they don't have to be together. They're quite happy on their own. Oh, that's not quite different enough colour, is it? That one will look a bit odd compared to the others, but we'll put it in the middle. Let's put in the green and then we can see where we need to go, what's left. Just adding in some green here and there. I think you could very easily Christmassify this one with these sort of adding berries and those sorts of things. Really do. Here's one more colour to bring in some Rococo Rose, I think. Spot the leaf I missed. Now obviously if you were doing this to give away, you could take a lot more care than I am. I'm just blotting on some colour. There's that leaf I missed just there. Right. See, what did I say just now about needing to make sure that I put things away, because otherwise I'm going to be drowning by the end of the day. So where have my scissors gone? Got my big scissors. There they are, buried. Right, so I'm going to quickly just snip around the edges of here. So we've got the whale set. You could have a little jam jar full of fishes. Don't think you'll get a whale in there, but you never know. You could obviously use your reversible stamps and fill your jars with jam. Send people cards about being well preserved. You could fill a little jar up with wildflower seeds and send that as a little gift, or little sweets, or whatever your recipient would like to receive. If they were a crafter, you could fill it with buttons or something. All other suggestions greatly received. You can think of anything else that you could put in your jars. You could put money in it, couldn't you? There is actually a stamp set in there's a stamp set called about the grandchildren, a grandkid. And there is one on there somewhere. No amount of money could ever show you how much I love you. You could fill it up with little coins, particularly if they were little, if they're little children and they don't really know the value of money. A little jar like that filled up with pennies or something would be very exciting. So we have our jars. Just going to snip this one down altogether. Might do the same with this one actually. Just cut them down and have them those are quite pretty, aren't they? Let's take these ones off. Let's do a bit of surgery. Just like that. Perfect. Perfect. Let's whop on some dimensionals. Nobody ever says you have to use things as they appear. A bit of surgery is always permissible. There's one. Oh, did I catch that or did it go? It went. Two. And three. This will probably be the longest live of all today because because of the size of this, the amount of goodies and the size of this suite. I shall of course be coming back to these to play with on future lives, and we'll be able to explore other things that they're going to be able to do. But those are pretty. They look like somebody's just been out into the meadows picking flowers, or in the garden. These aren't a posh bouquet that's just come through the post. These are a much simpler thing. Beautiful. So that's going to want some ribbon round it. It's going to want a greeting on it. I'll come actually with this wide ribbon all the way round. Tuck that under there. We'll find a greeting, and then I think that will want a soft sea foam card base to sit that on. Oh, I'm not sure that that's quite. And that just needs a greeting then. That's looking really quite rustic and country cottage garden, sitting in the windowsill. So there, that just needs, as I say, needs a greeting. I'll sort one of those out, but quite pretty. So let's put that to one side. Let's add that to our collection of stamps, and then let's have a little look at the sunflowers. Now, I was feeling really guilty earlier, or really concerned, that I hadn't yet done a sample for the sunflowers. And I thought, well, at the very least, I'm just going to cut out the dies. At least we'll be able to look at what the dies look like before we decide what we're going to go on to do. Having cut out the dies, I thought to myself, don't need to do anything else really. Just need to show you those and say, this is the code you want to put these into your basket. This is the sunflower stamped and die cut. Done nothing else to that. I've just stamped onto crushed curry card with soft suede ink, and I've cut it out. Stunning. Here is the die I need to go through, and I haven't poked out all the little holes in the edge of that, but again, stunning. Now you can use those together. They don't completely line up, so don't even spend hours trying. They're not intended to. It's supposed to be sort of giving you a two-tone effect. But you can see that even just the die cut flower on the background, just beautiful. Then you've got this little bit here that cuts out with the little holes in. That's your centre. So So if you just want three die cuts, don't need to do anything else really. Beautiful. This is the smaller one. Now obviously you'd do that and colour them in different colours. You've got the leaves on the side. This is your stamp. That's the smaller sunflower. Then you've got stamps that you can stamp onto these leaves. I haven't done that yet. You'll see that the stamp for the so this stamp here, you stamp that, and then you've got one die that cuts them both out, but cuts them out individually. So one stamp, one die, two little leaves, always handy. You've got your detailed leaf there, and then you've got your large leaf that will cut this leaf out, and then you've got these bits just here which are just lovely. And I think those are the sort of things that you're going to go to time and time again, just to add into all sorts of things, not just for your sunflower. So I really didn't need to do very much else, did I? We could do that, stick some of these at the back there, add in some leaves. It's a bit windy today, it's making my washing line creak. So there's a leaf with the detailed leaf on the top, a couple of little leaves, and we can perhaps have a little sunflower peeping out the bottom. Voila, you'd have a really beautiful card. Add in a greeting. Just, they're stunning. How about that on a scrapbook page? How about that in a frame? How about that on a tag? How about that? Just beautiful. So once I'd die cut them, I thought, well, that's it, drop the mic. Don't need to do anything else, but we will do something else. I'll put those to one side. I could be that lazy, but I'm not going to be. By 6 o'clock this evening, no guarantees. Now I'm going to cut a little bit of cardstock. We'll make it 9.5 by 13.9. And I think we'll come this way. And I think I'll come in with, I think I'll go with saddle brown stays on. Why the devil not? And I'm going to bring in the big sunflower. Now it's not completely symmetrical. You can see that you've got sort of a different look just here, and actually that's quite nice. It makes it almost look as if those leaves are curling up. And it's this bit just here. You have to remember that the stamp is reversed from the image, so it's this bit just here. So we'll have that coming down at the bottom. So let's ink this up with saddle brown ink. And we'll stamp that just there. Now this is a big stamp. If you do struggle in terms of dexterity and things, this is definitely a contender for your Stamparatus. Now that stamp is too big for most standard post-it notes. So what I've done is I've got a scrap bit of paper, and I've stuck my scrap bit of paper to a post-it note, stamped it, and then cut it out. So it's sort of post-it note with sunflower on the top. And it's going to come there. And let's put that on the top. So we've created a mask for our sunflower, because what I then want to do is I want to come in with the little sunflower, smaller sunflower, round the edge. Seems to be a block down. So let's ink that up, and there. One coming up there. I think I'll bring another one in down here. We'll grab this leaf and add in a few of these leaves. Right, now if I take that off, hopefully we now have a beautiful sort of collection, smattering, whatever, of sunflowers. Let's grab this one. Know that you are loved. Again, we'll ink that up with the saddle brown ink. Bring that down here. You always get a sort of quite a nice sort of vintagey look when you stamp sentiments with these. Right, now let's find our aqua painter just here, and a smattering of colours just here. Let's have a look. We'll come in with crushed curry. Obviously a lot of the samples in the catalogue are using bumblebee, but I don't yet have bumblebee. Crushed curry is probably the nearest, but you can have all sorts of coloured sunflowers. So a lovely sample that Emma Goddard had done. She's one of our artisan demonstrators, and hers had got reds and things in it. Beautiful. So this is not, again, I'm just slapping on the colour, but to be honest, it just takes it. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful stamp set, and very popular amongst the demonstrators that have had it on pre-order, and for very good reason, I think. Beautiful. I could go back in and add in a bit more pigment. I'm going to come in with a little touch of terracotta tile just in this centre. I'll do the same on the smaller ones. I'd wondered, I'd got pumpkin pie out to start with, but then I thought, no, I think it needs to be a bit redder than that. So I'm pleased I went for terracotta tile. Fab. And what we got? A bit of soft suede. Let's add some soft suede into this centre. These are really lovely autumny colours, so you could make them, say, much brighter and make them more summery. But sunflowers do tend to be sort of really late summer, don't they? They certainly are here. Let's come in. Picked up some shaded spruce. Not sure how close that is to the colour of sunflower leaves, but thought it would be a nice contrast to the the yellows. Those leaf stamps on their own will be really useful, particularly for your autumny projects, or for adding just leaves in with any of your floral cards. Fab. I like that. I'm going to grab a bit of, I think I'm going to grab a bit of terracotta tile actually. And again, I'm going to need to make that up into a card in a minute. I might go and grab my terracotta tile stamping blend in a minute and colour in some pearls or something to add in the background there. But look at that, just purely, I need to go back in and add in, sort of even out that colour and things on there. But for a quick 2-minute card, that is... I think this is going to be one of those stamp sets that you can create cards that look like they've taken you hours and hours in just a matter of minutes, because that stamp does, and those dies do all of the work for you. Now I'm just going to grab this. I'm not going to finish this card. I'm just going to have a look with what I think they've done, and I haven't looked at the recipe cards for it, so I may be completely wrong, but I think for this card, the sample that was in the catalogue, it looks to me like they have taken a crumb cake piece of card and the stamp and crumb cake ink, and I think they have taken watercolour pencils. I will come back and finish this at some point. It may not be today, but I think that is what they have done. To create the sunflower. Let's come in with a blender pen eventually and sort of blend that out. Use the white on the tips. And you can see how that would very quickly build up to a beautiful card. I can't see my blender pen. I had one in with my watercolour pencils. Where's that gone? But you can see, look, how that would very quickly build up into a beautiful card, and I will carry on and play with that at a later date. So, a watercolour card, watercolour pencils, all the dies that are just stunning. Those lovely jars of flowers. So if you haven't yet got this on your wish list, perhaps you need to. Because it is just a beautiful, beautiful, mega suite of products. And when it says that it is flowers for every season, it really does take you through from the tulips of spring right through to the poinsettias of Christmas. So thank you for joining me for this stint, and we'll be back at I think it's oh, no, I need to check my times now. Let me have a look. What time are we back? 12:30. See you then.